public void resend OTP. Okay, and it's going to have the number obviously. And now to resend the OTP we need the same thing here, but we also need to send the token. So we need to pass the token here. Okay, and that token is initialized here with the force resending token. Okay, so first time when we call this send OTP method, it's going to send the OTP and it's going to initialize this verification ID with this verification ID that we get, and it's also going to initialize this token with the force resending token that we get. And if next time user need to resend the OTP, then we will utilize this force resending token here in this method to resend the OTP. Okay, so in this way we can resend the OTP. Okay, now let's say everything went smoothly and we were able to verify the phone number using the OTP, and now in that case this on verification completed method is called. Okay, so now the next step is to create the account and link that account with the phone number. Okay, so to create the Firebase account with the phone number we need the credentials. Okay, so to create the credentials we need OTP and we also need the verification ID. So we have the verification ID available here with us, and now we need to take the OTP from the user. So in case the user is manually typing the OTP, then we need to take that from the user. Okay, so to take the data from the user, I'm just going to create the string variable called OTP, and I'm going to extract the data from all the fields that we have. Okay, so we have the OTP field 1. So what I'm doing here is I'm just getting the data from OTP field 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, and now the OTP contains the data entered by the user, the OTP entered by the user. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to match this OTP against the verification ID that we have here, so that we can verify if the OTP is actually valid or not. So phone auth, so now I can use phone auth credentials. Okay, to create the phone credentials that we need for the account creation. To get the credentials, and I need to pass the verification ID and the OTP, so that we can verify if the OTP that the user have entered is actually valid or not. Okay, now I'll go ahead and create the account. Okay, so to create the account, I'm just going to make one more method, so called verify authentication. Okay, so I just need to verify this credentials is valid or not, and if that is valid, we're just going to go ahead and create the new account for the particular user using the phone number. And after that we are going to link the email, the phone number, the account that is created using the email and the phone number. Okay, and here I'm just going to pass the credentials. All right, now let me go ahead and create this method just after this. Void, and it's going to take the phone auth credentials as the arguments. Okay, now inside this what I'm going to do is I'm going to if you remember, before verifying this phone number, we have created the account using the phone number here, right? So user is already having one account using his email. Now what I want to do is I want to link this email, this account created using email with the account created using the phone number. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I can use the Firebase authentication that we have here. So we already have this Firebase auth. Now I need to initialize it here. So let me do that first. Get instance. Okay, right. So now I'll use this Firebase auth to link the two accounts together. So inside this verify authentication, I'm going to verify auth, And so what I need to do is I need to get the current user that is logged in, and now I can link the account with the credentials. Now we already have the credential passed through the variable, passed through the method, so I can just pass that credentials. So now I'm going to add the success listener, new on success listener. So that means in that case, if this on success method is called, we have successfully linked the account created with email with the account created with the OTP. In that case, I'm just going to display the toast saying that account created and linked. Okay, and maybe we'll send him to the dashboard, which I don't have right now. Okay, so in that way we are going to verify the user using the OTP, and we are going to link the account with the Firebase and send them to the dashboard. But here you can see I have not called this resend OTP and this send OTP as well. So just after this callbacks, so make sure that you are calling the before this OTP is valid or not. I'm just going to call this send OTP thing, send OTP method. Okay, and here we need to pass the phone number. So we need to pass the number here. So in our case, we don't have our phone number available yet. That phone number is passed from the register here. Okay, so here I'm sending that, send the user to verify the phone number. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create new intent and call phone new intent, and here I'm going to get the current application, get activity, and sending to the verify. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the extra here. So phone dot put extra, and I'm going to give the phone as the key, and I'm going to use the phone number. So I'm going to pass the phone number from here, and in the Firebase to send the OTP we need to have the phone number with country code. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add plus here, and I'm going to get the country code, phone country code dot get text dot to string plus phone number dot get text dot to string. Okay, so it's going to have the complete phone number. So I'm just going to log this, and I'm going to copy and paste the same thing here. Let me make that tag. Okay, like here I have created this tag. Okay, now I'll start the new activity and the phone intent. Okay, now what this code is going to do is it's going to send the phone number from our register activity to the verify phone activity here. Okay, so now here I can extract that phone number. So just after this I'm going to create new intent data, and I'm gonna call the method get intent. Okay, and now I'm going to create new, actually I'm going to create the new public global variable here, string phone. Okay, and this is going to have the phone number that is passed from the register. So let me delete that, and phone goes to data dot get string extra, and I'm going to pass the key as the phone. All right. Okay, now I can pass this phone because it's going to contain the phone number of the registering user to this send OTP method, like that. Okay, so now it's going to send the OTP, and if OTP is sent back to the user, it's going to verify the user. Okay, and if the verification is failed, or if the auto retrieval is timeout, then we will let the user resend the OTP, and to resend the OTP we have this resend OTP method here. Okay, and okay, so once the resend OTP button is clicked, we are going to resend the OTP. So to do that, I'm going to go here, okay, just after this, and since we already have the button, so resend OTP dot set on click listener. So whenever user click on resend OTP button, we will let the user send the new OTP. So new on click listener. Okay, now here I'll just call the resend OTP and the method, and we need to pass the phone number. So we have the phone number, and we'll close this. So what this code does is it's going to listen if the user is clicking on the resend OTP button, and if that event occurs, it's going to resend the OTP. Okay, and now there is one more thing that I need to take care here, and you can see we have this verify phone button, right? So if I go to this activity here in this layout, you can see we have this verify button, and whenever user click on this verify button, then only we are going to extract the number from this field, and we are going to verify the OTP. So I have made one mistake here. I have just validated all this data here directly, but instead of this, what I need to do is I need to validate this field whenever after the user click on this verify phone button. So actually I need to put this inside the on click listener. Okay, so verify phone, that is the button, and I need to set the on click listener again, and new on click listener. Okay, and now inside this, whenever user click on verify button, I'm going to validate all the fields are populated with the data or not, and if those datas are valid, then we will send the OTP. So here I'm just going to copy this if part. If you remember, inside that if we had checked everything, so I'm going to put that if condition inside this. So if whenever user click on verify button, we will extract and validate the data, and if all these data are valid, then we are going to check here if OTP is valid. Then in that case, if the data is valid, then we will extract the OTP number entered by the user, we will create the phone credentials, and we will send that to the verification method, where we will verify if OTP is valid or not. Okay, so this is how we need to do it. So this is the phone verify phone event listener here. So okay, so that was the one thing I need to correct here. The on verification completed method is called whenever the verification is completed. That means whenever user entered the OTP and the verify button is clicked, in that case it's going to call this, and maybe user is having the auto retrieval features in his phone, then it's going to automatically call this on verification completed method. Okay, in that case we get this phone auth credentials automatically from this method, so we don't need to create the we don't need to create the phone auth credentials like how we had created here. Okay, somewhere here, like here we are combining the OTP and manually creating these credentials. But if the phone is having that auto retrieval features, then it's going to create these phone auth credentials automatically, and in that case all we need to do is called verify authentication, and we will just pass the phone auth credentials to verify the OTP. Okay, and we will hide the resend OTP button. So set visibility and gone. Okay, and if the verification failed again after 60 seconds, it's going to reappear that resend OTP. Okay, so this is it for this video guys, and in the next video we will go ahead and implement that features I talked about at the beginning of this video. That is, whenever user enter one OTP here, it's automatically going to the next and next and next and next, so that user don't need to manually click on each one of this field here. So yeah, I Hope you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you in the next video.